looking at Jerry Cook Court on the campus of Jimtown High School, where TV46 is proud to present the Class 3A Sectional Championship between the Marian Knights and the Jimtown Jimmies, part of the IHSA tournament presented by the Indiana Pacers. And how you doing, everybody? Between my Hall of Fame partners, Bob Nagel and Bo Hunt, it's Chuck Freeby. Great to have you with us for an exciting Saturday night of sectional championship action. Bob, the Marian Knights, no stranger to the sectional championship game. Rob Berger's team has had a very successful run with 20-win seasons in 5 of the last 6 years. But this has been the obstacle for them to get over the hump the last couple of years.
And I think it is all around the state. You know, after tonight, there'll be 80 teams left in the tournament, and that'll be it. So getting past the sectional is always a tough assignment, no matter who's in it and where they're playing. You go back to Marian's history, they won a sectional in 1969 and hadn't won one until the recent years. So they're getting used to this, but hey, you got to have a lot of respect for Jimtown. This is a team that's 17-7. I think Jerry Bracey is obviously the guy that's got to get it done for Marian, and Declan Sullivan's about outstanding as a freshman point guard. But I got to think that a guy like Michael Boffman's got to shoot the threes, got to score from the outside, just to make that Jimtown defense stay honest.
Meanwhile, as Bob mentioned, Jimtown comes in with a record of 17-7. An overtime game with Glenn on Tuesday night, close game with Clay last night. But don't sell this team short. They have some talent, including a young man getting some Division I offers in Preston Phillips.
Yeah, you know, we saw him earlier this season. You and I came over and watched him, a little scouting trip against Northwood, and he looked like he hadn't really blossomed the way that he has recently, and he's really become an impressive player. I think he's reminds me of Scottie Pippen, kind of new to his size, new to his ability, and all of a sudden he's getting some good looks, and he should. He's an outstanding player. He's a guard at 6'7", which is, you know, at the next level. That's pretty convenient. They've also got Clay Campbell, who shoots the three-pointer. A little surprisingly, he shoots it pretty good, so he ought to shoot more. We were talking to him before the game. And they've also got a lot of role players on this team that can get it done, and Bill Pollack is one of them. If Bill can throw in a dozen, 15 points maybe, it makes Jimtown awful tough to guard.
Let's turn to our sideline reporter, Bo Hunt. And Bo, there's no question about it. Marian comes in ranked number 4. They're the prohibitive favorite. But they had an overtime game with St. Joe last night. So can they rev up the tanks enough to face a Jimtown team that's hungry, and won sectional since 2004, and playing on its home floor?
I think that's one of the biggest keys tonight is, can they rev up for this game? Can they get up for it? You know, you would think that a lot of teams overlook a team like Jimtown. In Jimtown, they just need to come out and play loose. If they get behind early, play loose and just keep going at it. Don't get down, don't give up. Just keep playing loose out there, and I think they can have a chance. For Marian, I mean, they just play their game. They can't just look past Jimtown. They have to play their game, because Jimtown can be a dangerous team.
Anything after tonight is really gravy. This is what you play for all season long. The chance to add something to your school's trophy case. We'll see who can do it tonight. Is it Jimtown or Marian? The Jordan Automotive Keys to Win are next on the 46.
This is the WHME TV 46 High School Basketball Game of the Week. Brought to you by Interra Credit Union, South Bend Orthopedics, Bill's Heating, Jordan Automotive Group, Teachers Credit Union, IU South Bend, Electrical Workers Local 153, Crown Trophy, Imagineering Finishing Technology, and the IHSAA.
This edition of the TV 46 High School Basketball Game of the Week is being brought to you by the Jordan Automotive Group. Simple, easy, and stress-free. Welcome back inside the Jerry Cook Court in Jimtown High School as we get you ready for Marian and Jimtown in this Class 3A sectional final. Time now to look at our keys to win, brought to you by the aforementioned Jordan Auto Group. And when you look at the Marian Knights, you have to talk about their point guard, Jerry Bracey. He has become a candidate for the Northern Indiana Conference MVP honors this year, in my opinion. The 6'2 senior scoring 19 points a game. He leads the team with almost 5 rebounds a game. Also leads the Knights in assists and steals, and he had 27 last night in that overtime win over St. Joe. He'll get some help from his backcourt mate, the freshman Declan Sullivan. 5'9", 14 points and 2 rebounds per game, but he had a career-high 25 last night in the win over the Tribe. The keys to win for Rob Berger and the Knights.
Well, number one, Marion's got to be efficient on offense, and by that I mean get a shot every possession and also get some offensive rebounds. Those can be big in this game. They have to apply defensive pressure. They got to make sure that Jimtown knows they're there. They can be long and they can be physical, and they need to do that tonight. And they have to match Jimtown's energy and intensity. And I think one of the things that is so important there is that Marian went overtime last night, as you mentioned, Chuck, and Jimtown obviously did not. And so Jimtown's going to have a lot of energy and be ready to go. But their Marian's head coach, Rob Berger, is totally respecting what he's got tonight as far as an obstacle with Jimtown.
Well, they are ranked. I mean, they're 17th in 3A, so they are ranked, and they're an outstanding basketball team, and we know it. I mean, they're 17-7, same schedule that we play, and they're an outstanding basketball team that have kids that can shoot it, kids that can drive it, and they're tough to deal with on the boards.
Now, as for the Jimtown Jimmies, who come in with that 17-7 record that Rob Berger mentioned, they are led by a 6'7" point guard by the name of Preston Phillips. Phillips averages almost 15 points and 7 rebounds a game. He lit it up for 25 last night, a season high in the win over South Bend Clay. And Phillips getting some Division I offers from places like Alabama and A&M, but he doesn't have to do it alone. He's got a pretty good sharpshooter in Bill Pollock. 6'2" senior has knocked down 59 three-pointers this year and averages 11 points a game. The keys to win for Matt Schaus's Jimtown Jimmies.
Number one, they have to avoid the run-out situations, the long threes that come off and then create an opportunity for Marian to get the transition basket. They need to command the paint, and they have the ability. They're very physical inside, and they can have an advantage in there, and they have to run the offense with purpose. Every pass, every opportunity, every possession has to be one with a lot of meaning and trying to take advantage of scoring opportunities. Head coach Matt Schaus talks with us about his team and how proud he is of them.
It's got to be our senior class. We got 5 solid seniors that play a lot of minutes. I mean, 4 of them probably play 30 plus, and some of them never come out of a game. It's been that way for 24 games now. So that's our strength. They've been around for 3 years, and they've bought into kind of what we want to do as a program.
The prelude to the championship is over. It's just about time to get this party started. We'll give you the starting lineups and have the opening tip of the Class 3A Sectional Championship next on 46. And this edition of the TV 46 High School Basketball Game of the Week is being brought to you in part by Intera Credit Union. We get it, because we live here too. We're getting ready for the announcement of the starting lineups to this crowd, and we will do it for you at home as well. Here's Bob Nagel.
Well, thank you, Chuck. And the Marian Knights will be introduced first. And starting at point guard for them is a 5'9" freshman. He wears number 1, Diglan Sullivan. Been outstanding for the Knights. 6' senior Jerry Bracey wears number 5. The top scorer for the Marian Knights and big-time college prospect. 6'2" senior, number 23 is Michael Boffman. He's a good three-point shooter, especially in the corners. 6'3" junior Mitchell Menting is an outstanding player on this team, as is 6'5" sophomore, number 14, Kaleo Kakalea. So Marian will have Sullivan, Bracey, Boffman, Menting, and Kakalea. Now the Jimtown Jimmies, they will start Bill Pollock at a forward. He's a 6'2" senior, wears number 3, good outstanding shooter from the outside. Clay Campbell is a 6'5" senior. He wears number 22, and he's also a very good three-point shooter. Their main man is Preston Phillips. He's a 6'7" senior, wears number 24. And number 32 is a 6'2" senior, Braden Rice. And their other starting guard is a 6'1" senior, number 30, Blake Garrettson, who's outstanding on defense for the most part for Jimtown. So it's Pollock, Campbell, Phillips, Rice, and Garrettson for the Jimtown Jimmies.
There you see the two head coaches, Matt Schaus on the left in his 20s, Rob Berger on the right. Well, let's just say he's a little older than in his 20s. He's been coaching 22 years at the high school level. The series history goes all the way back to 1966, the first year that Marian had a basketball team. Marian leads the series 32-19, but that's only because they have won 12 straight in the series. And then Marian won during the regular season. The officials is assigned by the IHSAA. James Payne is on the left. Brian Allen is on the right, and Christian Flores is there in the middle. They had a little problem with the PA announcer's mic, so there's been a little bit of a delay in announcing the Jimtown starting lineup. They want to do that and get this home crowd revved up here a little bit. But Bo Hunt, we talked before the game about the fact that the juice for Marian, a little bit of a question coming into this game. I would imagine the biggest question mark surrounding this Jimtown team is the fact that none of these guys have ever played in a sectional championship game before. How much does the atmosphere, are they ready for the moment?
Yeah, I think that's a big question. You know, Marian's been tested. Their schedule and what they've played just in sectional alone and right before sectional with Michigan City, South Bend, Washington again, and then St. Joe. You know, they've been battle tested here in the last 2 weeks. Is Jimtown up for the challenge? Have they been battle tested, and are they ready to go?
What a great atmosphere tonight at Jerry Cook Court. Marian in the blue, Jimtown in the white, and a sectional championship goes to the winner.
80 houses around the state of Indiana busy with sectional championship games tonight. We're blessed to be here for this one. Here's Chuck Freeby.
And the tip is knocked out of bounds by Marian, and so Jimtown will have it underneath their offensive basket. The Jimmies come in with a record of 17-7. They have won 5 straight, beating Glenn on Tuesday 53-50, and then beating Clay last night 59-48. The inbounds pass, a lob to Preston Phillips. They work it to Bill Pollock in the corner. Marian opens up in what appears to be a 2-3 zone. Braden Rice, somebody who likes to slash to the basket, gets the ball to Clay Campbell, who has it stolen away by Jerry Bracy. Knights in transition, Declan Sullivan for 2. Sullivan has had a big tournament, scoring 42 points in 2 games, and a double team brings a foul against Marian. The foul called on Jerry Bracy, who had the steal, as you'll see on the SBO replay, that led to the basket for Marian.
It's the one man that Marian does not want to get in any kind of foul trouble.
He did foul out of the game last night, and the Knights were able to weather the storm in that overtime game against St. Joe. Preston Phillips had problems handling the pass, and so had to kick it back outside. The lob to Blake Garrettson. Now Bill Pollock for 3. Back iron, and Michael Boffman with a rebound for the 20-4 Marian Knights, who have won 10 straight coming into this one. Very efficient offensive team. They shoot 54% from the field for the year. They do average 14 turnovers a game, so they can get a little sloppy. Looks like Jimtown has opened up in a man-to-man. Michael Boffman with the basketball, one of 2 seniors. Declan Sullivan's 3 connects. And Marian jumps out to a 5-0 lead.
Wait a minute, he's only a freshman. What's he doing?
He has not been disturbed one iota by this thing called Hoosier hysteria. Helps to have been around it all your life. He had a brother, Greenan, who was a standout at St. Joe, a sister, Daly, and sister, Keegan. Keegan just named to the All-State team this week.
Got a lot of basketball IQ, that young man.
Clay Campbell handles up top. Jimtown will be deliberate. I'm not saying they're a team that holds the ball, but they're patient and they look for a good shot. And they move the ball around, as you see, very, very well.
They have a lot of respect for Marian's length, quickness defensively.
They found a seam in that zone, but Braden Rice lost it out of bounds. It'll be Marian ball.
Turnover number 2 for the Jims, 1 for Marian.
You're right. The length of this Marian zone defense really has been one of the reasons why their defense has been top-notch this year.
Reminds you a little bit of Syracuse in that everybody knows what they need to do and where they need to be.
Here's Sullivan. Now Bracy as they work a little weave. Bracy dumps it off for Boffman. Marian showing some patience as well. But a fine pass from Bracy gets tipped outside to Sullivan.
Jimtown's packing it up pretty much in the paint. They said they wanted to control that. That's a big factor for them.
Forced Sullivan and those guys to shoot outside. That time he missed. The rebound batted around, and Jimtown is able to control it. Phillips goes behind the back to bring it over the timeline. Jimmies have had a 3-minute drought here to start the game, and it doesn't help when you have a turnover as Campbell, the Jimtown quarterback during the football season, overthrew that receiver.
Imaginary Finishing Technologies is celebrating 60 years as the industry knowledge source for metal finishing solutions. 60 years of serving the automotive, medical, aerospace, and military and defense industries. Go to iftworldwide.com for more information. Like the teams in tonight's game, they're working toward a great finish.
Sullivan misses a second straight three-pointer, and Marian knocks the ball out of bounds, so Jimtown will have it on the baseline. The Jimmies had wins this year over teams like South Bend, Washington, 55-54. They beat Penn, which is something that they have not done frequently. But they seem a little jittery as they come out for this sectional championship game tonight. And of course, Marion's defense will do that to you. The Knights have been tremendous at that end of the floor all season long. Pollock finds Campbell. Rice takes it inside, and the teardrop won't go. Kaleo Kakalea with the rebound for Marian. Knights looking to build on a 5-0 cushion. Baughman traveled. Both teams, I have the feeling, kind of know what's at stake tonight. And have shown it a little bit in the early going as you look at Rob Berger, 320 wins in a brilliant 22-year career.
5 points on the scoreboard and 5 turnovers between the two teams so far.
Phillips lost the handle, but Jimtown able to save it. This is Blake Garrettson down low. Tried to leave it for Phillips, but the pass knocked away, and Bracey has another steal. And Jerry Bracey taking it into the paint, and he travels. Jerry felt he got bumped a little bit. He might have had a point, but that's not the way it was called.
Well, we saw last night in our game, a lot of times the officials kind of deciding if you initiated the contact, as last night we saw a couple of players going into a 1-on-3, then you take your chances.
Bo Barhams has the ball now for Jimtown. He just checked into the game. He is a three-point sniper and somebody that might be looked at to shoot over the top of this zone tonight. Jimtown has had problems just getting shots off here in the early going.
Keep playing 3 out. That 12 to 15 footer might be the shot that becomes available.
But right now they can't get anything going against this Marian defense. Yet they're only down 5. Phillips in the corner, not known as a three-point shooter. He'll hoist one occasionally. Pollock whips it down to Phillips, who feeds Rice for 2. The extra pass working very well for the Jimmies, and Braden Rice gets him off the schneid almost 5.5 minutes into the contest. Rob Berger calling for motion from his offense. Bracey's pull-up jumper is short, and the rebound comes down to Bill Pollock. Here come the Jimmies across half court. And again, the patient approach not bad as long as you get shots out of it. That was the problem for Jimtown in the early going. Too many turnovers.
Well, one of the keys to win for Marian was to apply pressure. And they've been able to do it pretty well. But again, Jimtown being very patient.
Barhams outside to Phillips. Good head and shoulder fake. But he threw it outside. Pollock for 3. We're tied. His 60th of the year. First quarter tonight brought to us by our friends at Angel Automotive. All knotted up at 5 in the sectional final. Marian has been cold from the field in the early going.
Sullivan scored their first 5 points, and then he's been trying to get other people involved.
Bracey's pull-up jumper finds a home. Jerry Bracey, who averages over 19 points a game, gets his first basket of the contest. and puts Marian back on top. A double team on Phillips. He'll see that a lot tonight, I have the feeling. Marian's going to try to make other Jimmies beat them this evening.
Good hustle there by the Jims to keep that ball alive.
Phillips has been very slow to score in the first half of both of their tournament games so far and has turned it up a notch in the second half. And that includes last night in the win over Clay when he wound up scoring a season-high 25. Pollock with the head and shoulders fake, couldn't get it to drop, and the rebound comes down on the floor to Sullivan. And Jimtown's transition defense has been good. Let's see if the Knights hold for one here. You see the clock in the bottom right-hand corner of your Intera Credit Union scoreboard.
There'll be people who see the score and think that both teams were cold shooting. That hasn't been the case. It's been pretty intensive defense.
Gracie tried to scoop it, had it knocked away. Barhams from half court is short, and the first quarter comes to an end. There weren't a lot of shots that dropped in the first quarter, but each team was able to drain a three. Deglin Sullivan with a deep one for Marian. Bill Pollock with a three-ball corner pocket for the Jimmies, who trail by 2 at the end of 1 on 46. This edition of the 46 Game of the Week being brought to you by IU South Bend, fulfilling the promise. We promise you sideline reports sponsored by Bill's Heating. Bo Hump provides them. Your thoughts on the first quarter, my friend?
Well, a few things stuck out, and a lot of them on the Jimtown side. One on their defense, they're really just packing it in the zone, inside the lane, not letting Marian either doing any type of dribble drive in, getting anything inside so they can dish off. The other thing that I really like what Jimtown's doing on the offensive end is they're really passing the ball. You notice they're really trying to work for that good shot, and it looks as though Marian's legs are not quite there the way they were, and I think maybe that overtime victory last night over St. Joe might have something to do with it, guys.
So it is a 7-5 Marian lead as we begin quarter number 2. Gracie finds Sullivan in the corner. He hit the first 3 tonight and then has failed in his last 2 attempts. Mitchell Menting in the game now. He wears number 12. You'll meet him at halftime, one of our TCU student athletes. And Darian Thornton in the game as well for Marian. And a travel called on Menting.
Turnover number 5 for the Marian Knights, 4 so far for Jimtown. First quarter stats, Marian 3 out of 6, 50% from the field, but only 6 shots. Jimtown 2 out of 6, 33%. Both teams 1 out of 3 from three-point range.
High turnover counts in the first quarter. Boy, look at that lob pass. But it's 35 feet away from the basket.
It was a softball pitch that had too much arc.
You threw a few of those. Phillips to Campbell to Pollock in the corner. Boy, when he gets the ball, you see people closing out in a hurry. They didn't get there that time, and Pollock was short on the 3. Kakalia with an easy rebound.
Got the shot they wanted.
Now the freshman Sullivan kicks it out to Bracy. Bracy into the paint against Phillips and draws contact. He'll go to the line for 2.
Our thanks to the team from St. Andrews Products for making our crew look good tonight. They can do the same for your school or corporation. Call them at 800-628-9922 or email them at sales@standrewscorp.com. Your expectations become our standards, and our answer is always yes. Now, what's the question?
You take a look at Matt Schaus on that Jimtown bench, 35 and 35 in his 3rd season. He's sending Blake Gerritsen back in for Bo Barhams. Schaus, a former Bethel player. Boy, there's a lot of former Bethel players coaching, including 2 college roommates going at each other tonight in LaPorte with Mark Galloway and Chad Johnston. Bracy short on the 2nd free throw. So goes 1 for 2 in his trip to the stripe, and Marian opens up an 8-5 lead. Lob pass for Phillips, got too far behind the basket. Rice outside to Pollock. Gerritsen had the pass knocked right back to him. Now Pollock finds himself in the corner, but again, the defense closing quickly. Phillips trying to find some room. Now Pollock inside the arc, too strong, and the rebound controlled by Bracy. Marian on the run, Kakalia for 2. An easy transition basket for Marian, the kind that Matt Schaus said his team cannot afford to give up. Suddenly it's a 5-0 Knights run.
You know, one of the things to keep in mind here for Jimtown's approach, I mean, they're only down 4, but they are making Marian work awful hard on defense, and maybe that's one of the things that Coach Schaus thought is if we make them work, and they're already tired from last night, maybe we can take advantage of it, especially in the second half.
Ball knocked out of bounds by Marian, and Jimtown will keep it with 5:22 to go first half.
When the Jimtown Jimmies are hungry, they go to Jimtown Pizza. Whether you're hungry for pizza, chicken strips, breadsticks, breaded mushrooms, or ice cream, Jimtown Pizza can feed your family or your whole team. You can also find the same great food at Cook's Pizza in Wakarusa. Big thank you to Jimtown Pizza for feeding our production crew prior to tonight's game.
That is good stuff. An over-the-back foul called on Mitchell Menting as he tried to knock the ball away from Blake Gerritsen. That's the first on Menting, and the second on the Knights. You get another look from the SBO replay. Good pass here by Phillips, set up the action. Back to live action. The shot of Clay Campbell is blocked. Ahead to Sullivan for 2. He's got 7, and a timeout called by Matt Schaus in Jimtown. 5:01 to go in the first half, and Marian on a 7-0 run leads at 12-5 in the sectional final on 46. And this edition of the TV46 High School Basketball Game of the Week being brought to you by South Bend Orthopedics, the team physicians for the University of Notre Dame since 1947. Here's the last play after the block. Beautiful feed from Bracy to Sullivan to get the fast break going. 2 fast break layups in a row had Matt Schaus calling a timeout over on the Jimtown bench. Quick update on some other scores. Culver Academy leading Adams 14-8 after 1. Northwood on top of Wawasee 17-8 after 1. Ball knocked out of bounds by Menting.
Good hustle again, the long reach. Rob Berger got to be pretty happy with the defensive intensity. That was one of his concerns coming in. Got to match the intensity and the energy of the Jimtown Jimmies.
Pollock over in the corner for Jimtown. Jimmies have just found this 2-3 zone of Marian nearly impenetrable. They have not had many looks inside tonight. They try another baseline jumper by Rice. It's off the mark, and Bracy gets another carom.
Marian leading on the boards now 7-3.
They've really dominated every aspect of the game so far, and yet Jimtown still within striking distance, but they got to get some shots to drop.
Getting a 7-3 advantage, take into account that there just haven't been that many shots taken in the game.
Bracy trying to work around Gerritsen, and Gerritsen, an all-state offensive lineman, used to blocking people and is called for the blocking foul.
It's his first personal foul. Folks, Angel Automotive fixes everything from maintenance, oil changes to complete engine overhauls. Let Angel Automotive be your neighborhood car repair service center. Find out more at angelautomotive.com. Our thanks to Angel Automotive, our four-quarter sponsor in tonight's game.
Also tonight, LaVille with a 13-9 lead on South Central. That game early in the second quarter. Here's Declan Sullivan outside to Mitchell Menting. The defensive end on the football team found no room down low. Clay Campbell comes away with a loose change. Campbell at 6'5", plays up top. So does the 6'7" Preston Phillips. But on the cut, they couldn't get it to Campbell. He was able to get it back outside to Pollock. Rice can't find anybody to go to. Campbell now tries to go to work on Menting inside and couldn't get it to drop. Pollock picks up the rebound. Here's Barhams on the outside. There's a cutter, but again, the ball mishandled, and here comes Boffman down the sideline. He stepped on the sideline for Marian. Christian Flores had a really good look at it from his standpoint. So did we up here.
You know, it's got to be the third time in the game that one turnover has led to another by the other team.
But Jimtown just can't get a handle on some of the passes that they're throwing. This is one thing that Matt Schaus talked about before the game. They wanted to cut and dribble with purpose. They have. The thing they haven't been able to do is catch the ball. Barham's caught it there, but his three goes awry. Offensive rebound knocked out of bounds. It will belong to Jimtown. Jimmies have yet to score here in the second quarter.
They are 0 for 6. Marian's 2 out of 3 in the second quarter.
The score may wind up being reminiscent of the game you watched last Saturday night on TV 46, the 3A Girls State Championship game, which was 13-12 at halftime.
Right.
Here's a long three from Pollock. That's off the mark. Barham's an offensive rebound, and Jimtown will try to reset things, but he threw it away. And here's transition for Marian. Kyrell Franklin was blocked by Campbell. Bracy, the offensive rebound, no good. And now Jimtown comes away, and the Jimmies want to run. Preston Phillips into the lane to Pollock. Good recovery that time by Marian. Phillips goes inside, draws the contact, and he'll go to the line for two. Here's a look at the previous block on the SBO replay. And Campbell had good position against Kyrell Franklin.
And he's a physical young man, so when he gets a position, you're not going to push him out of the way.
Preston Phillips, the leading scorer on this Jimtown team at 15 points a game, has not scored tonight. But the 73% free throw shooter rattles that one home for his first point. You'll meet him at halftime, one of our TCU Student Athletes of the Week. He's involved in a lot of things here at Jimtown. DECA, the school musical, tennis team. Oh yeah, and he's a pretty decent basketball player. Timeout called with 1:37 to go first half. Jimtown has its first points of the second quarter and trails by 5 on 46. This edition of the TV 46 High School Basketball Game of the Week is being brought to you in part by the Indiana High School Athletic Association, partnering with TV 46 for 30 years. Chuck Freeby, Bob Nigel, and Bo Hunt back with you inside the Jimtown High School, where the Jerry Cook Court is. Jerry Cook, the longtime superintendent here in Bargo Township, in attendance at the game tonight, and has to be very proud of this Jimtown team.
Certainly is proud of them. They're 2 out of 13, though, from the floor for the ball game, and still within 5 points. So it's hard to argue with Coach Matt Schaus's game plan. It's keeping it closer than it might be otherwise, but they got to find a way to continue to work on the boards. For example, they are now just 1 rebound behind Marian. 8-7 is the tally there.
The first half has been a problem for Jimtown all week long. They've struggled in the first half against both Glenn and Clay. You would have thought if they struggled as much as they have in the first half tonight, they'd be trailing by more than 5, but Marian has had its issues as well. Jerry Bracy rattles that one home, though. And the backcourt again getting the job done for Marian. Sullivan with 7, Bracy with 5. That's 12 of their 14. 14-7 Marian lead. That would probably put a smile on Michael Davidson's face, the football coach for the Knights. That pass knocked away. Boffman loses it to Menting, and Menting was lucky that pass wasn't intercepted. Let's see how patient Marian is here. Bracy takes it inside and lays it up with the left hand for 2. He has really developed the idea that he can score with both hands, and we've seen it quite a bit in the 3 Marian games that we've had this year.
Wasn't a bad football player either.
Biggest lead of the night for Marian. Clay Campbell's 3 goes awry. Boffman was shoved from behind. That's why the ball went out of bounds. A foul called on Jimtown.
Well, we mentioned in our pregame that Clay Campbell's 40% from three-point range. Doesn't shoot a lot of them, but usually he's been pretty accurate, and they need some points.
Marian likely to hold for the last shot here, which means they'll have no less than a 9-point cushion going into the intermission. Bracy will handle it up top. Sullivan pops out for three. Too hard. Phillips heaves from half court. It's good if it goes, but it doesn't. And the first half comes to an end with Jimtown trailing Marian by a count of 16-7. We'll toss it downstairs to Bo Hunt for a Bills Heating sideline report. He's standing by with Jimmy's head coach, Matt Schaus.
Matt, you go into halftime down by 9. Offensively, it seems like you guys are really getting your shot. You're just not knocking them down. Your thoughts on that first half?
Yeah, we're getting some decent looks. Still turning the ball over a little too much. Luckily, they haven't turned the baskets for them, but we got to find a way to put the ball in the basket. And I think it starts with our two guys up top running especially if they're in their 1-3-1.
Thanks for your time.
Yep.
Back to you guys.
All right, Bo, stick around, everybody. Two outstanding young men to meet as our TCU Student Athletes of the Week. Jerry Bracy has 7 points in the first half to tie for team high honors. He's one reason the Knights are up by 9 at the break, 16-7 in the sectional championship on 46.
And welcome back to Jimtown High School. This is the sectional championship game in Class 3A. And we have a chance to interview our Student Athletes of the Week, brought to you by TCU. TCU reminds you to go online at tcunet.com and find out how you can become a member today. Well, two fine representatives of their respective schools, including Preston Phillips, there he is, Preston Phillips from Jimtown High School, and Mitchell Menning is with us from Marian High School. Mitchell, first of all, congratulations on being singled out for your achievements, not only in the hardwood, but in the classroom.
Thank you.
Talk about what it takes to get that done. You're also involved in football, so you're a busy guy.
Yeah, it's just a lot of balancing of sports and academics, and knowing that when you get home from practice, you got to dedicate all of your time to schoolwork and being sure you're at the top of all your stuff in your classes.
You know, say sometimes being good at both of those requires you passing on an outing for pizza, that kind of thing, but you got to keep your priorities in line. Talk about what you've been involved with at Marian, the two sports and whatever else you're involved with.
It's just, I've been doing football and basketball all 3 of these years, and it's just, it's really made this high school experiment just a lot of fun, throughout the years.
What's ahead for you in college?
I'm hoping to go to Purdue, study engineering.
Good idea. I know it can be hard to give up football and basketball, but maybe a little inner-hall for you?
Yeah, of course. You always want to keep playing the games you love. So.
There you go. Give a shout-out to the people that mattered in your life.
The people that really helped me get through it all are my parents, of course. They help me, whether it's on this court or on the football field while I'm struggling or in the classroom. They always help me get through everything.
That's great news, and congratulations on what you've done already, and best wishes for what's ahead.
Thank you.
All right, Mitchell Menning from Marian High School, our Student Athlete of the Week, and Preston Phillips is with us from Jimtown High School. And Preston, congratulations on all you've done, and it's been a terrific experience for you this year. You've got a team that's ranked and playing well, but they've got a pretty good leader out there.
Thank you. It's really just a team effort, I think. I don't really think it's a leadership kind of thing. We have 5 seniors that play a ton of minutes, and it's great.
Talk about the involvement you have here at Jimtown. I know they like to keep you busy and involved with a lot of things here in the Jimtown experience.
Yeah, we're actually a really nice community, and we do everything, I guess, as a group. And I've been helping out a lot with special needs kids, and it's really fun. We actually had a basketball game during homecoming at halftime, and it was really fun.
You're planning on going to the next level, playing college basketball. Undecided a little bit about where you're going, which is kind of good news for a lot of coaches that are interested in you, but you got a pretty good idea what you want to study.
I definitely want to go into the lines of business finance. It's always been a steady route, and wherever I go, I know I'll have a lot of fun, and school comes first, so we'll see what happens.
I wish you all the best of luck there. Give a little credit to the people who mattered in your life.
Definitely my mom and dad. They've helped me push through a lot, and there's a lot of coaches that have helped me through the mental side of things and preparing for games and preparing for the college side, and it's really great. I couldn't do it without them.
I'm really proud of what you've done already, and wish you the best of luck in the future, and do a good job representing Jimtown like you have all season.
Thank you.
All right, Preston Phillips from Jimtown High School, our student athlete, and Mitchell Menning from Marian High School. These are our student athletes of the week, brought to you by TCU. TCU reminds you to go online at tcunet.com. Find out how you can become a member today. We're back with halftime stats and highlights in just a couple of minutes here on TV 46 and our coverage of the Jimtown Sectional Championship.
And this edition of the TV 46 High School Basketball Game of the Week being brought to you in part by Crown Trophy. They're nationally known and locally owned. 16-7 Marian at the break here at Jerry Cook Court. Chuck Freeby and Bob Nagel high top courtside, and partner, it has not been an artistic success for either team, but boy, defensively, again, you have to be impressed with both teams.
The length and quickness of Marian on defense has led to turnovers, but the turnover battle is about even. Rebounding has tightened up a little bit. The biggest thing is the shooting percentages, and while nobody's been lighting it up, the start they got from Declan Sullivan was really important.
So let's show you how it got to be this way inside Jimtown High School tonight. Marian got off to the good start, as Bob mentioned. Declan Sullivan with 2 quick baskets out of the chute. First a layup in transition, then he hits a deep three-pointer here. It was 5-0 Marian, but Matt Schaus really encouraged his team, and they responded to that encouragement. Braden Rice inside for the first basket almost 5.5 minutes into the game. Then Bill Pollock hit a corner 3. We were all tied up at 5. Things were looking good in the Jimtown student section. Since that point, though, it's an 11-2 Marian run. Kaleo Kakalia had a transition basket. So too did Sullivan, who had 7 points in the first half. And then Jerry Bracey started to warm up as well for the Knights as he got one to stop, pop, and drop. He had 7 points in the half. So Marian leads at 16-7 at the break. And the shooting numbers, I'm no prophet, but you're not going to beat anybody shooting 14%.
Yeah, the only points that Jimtown had in the second quarter were the 2 free throws. First half, 2 out of 14, that's 14%. Marian, 50% on 7 out of 14. Marian, you look at the numbers on the three-pointers too. Marian 1 out of 4. That was the one that Declan Sullivan made. Jimtown's 1 out of 7. They kept shooting the 3 even though they weren't getting them either. So Marian moved the ball inside. Bracey's penetration was very effective. And the other numbers about even as far as free throws and things like that. But boy, Jimtown's got to find a hot hand.
Well, as Matt Schaus said, he hadn't got one field goal yet out of his top 2 big men, Preston Phillips and Clay Campbell. They got to deliver here in the second half. So we'll see what they do, and we'll see how Rob Berger adjusts when we come back. We are at halftime, 16-7 Marian at the break. You're watching the sectional championship on TV 46. This edition of the TV 46 High School Basketball Game of the Week being brought to you in part by the electrical workers of Local 153. They're making our community brighter. A milestone night for Rob Berger. He's coaching in his 500th career game tonight. And when you're a veteran like that, you're bound to make halftime adjustments. What are they? Let's find out from our sideline reporter, Bo Hunt, with a Bills Heating sideline report.
Yeah, I got a chance to talk to Rob, and he simply said we need to attack more. Offensively, we're not attacking, and he said in the transition game, he goes, we can get up and we can score a lot of points if we just get in a transition. Being a little lazy out there, need to attack. Guys?
Well, neither team is attacking. It's been like watching a chess match, and you'll notice chess matches aren't televised very frequently.
Hey, by the way, you mentioned that it's a big night for Rob Berger. Thinking about my partner sitting next to me. He's only participated in about 1,500 games over.
Oh, now, come on.
Well, think about it. A lot of baseball games in there.
Yeah, well, you've had your fair share as well. Jerry Cook. We told you the longtime Bogo superintendent was in the house tonight, and there he is. He was a longtime basketball official as well, with a partner by the name of Jerry Fawley. And the running joke among the coaches was Cook and Fawley called a game like they spelled their names with no eyes.
They're both Jerry, though. And,
halftime scores for you, by the way, from some other games. Culver Academy leads Adams 21-12 at the break, and Northridge on top of Warsaw 26-17 at halftime. Here it's 16-7.
And we've got ourselves a good start to the second half, and here to call the action, my partner, Chuck Freeby.
Jimtown in the white with the basketball. Trying to find ways they can get the ball down low to Preston Phillips. Clay Campbell up top. Has no opening. Braden Rice couldn't drive. And Bill Pollock stepped on the sideline.
Well, he didn't think so.
Neither did Matt Schaus. And now Schaus, being told by James Payne, doesn't want to hear it.
7 turnovers now for Jimtown. Chuck, one of the things, too, that was kind of an anomaly in that first half, only 4 free throws taken. And not much in the way of personal fouls. Of course, the pace kind of demanded that, but let's see if one of the teams doesn't get more aggressive.
Well, Marian just did. Jerry Bracey got the ball inside and found Kaleo Kakalia on the cut. Kakalia now with 4 points. He averages 5 a game. And Marian with its biggest lead at 18-7. Remember, this game at one time was tied 5-5. Rice to Garrettson, and the big fella drops in a deuce. Blake Garrettson with his first basket of the game, the 5'10 senior.
Also his first shot of the game. So we talked about how Jimtown had to be looking for other scorers, other shooters, and they found one right there in Garrettson in a nice setup.
Garrettson has had some big baskets for the Jimmies this year. He had game-winning shots against both Elkhart Central and South Bend, Washington. Bracey worked his way down against Campbell, but was short on the shot. Good positioning by Preston Phillips, and here come the Jimmies in transition. Sullivan, though, knocks it right away from Phillips. Good dive by Campbell. That'll be a held ball or somebody's going to get hurt. Oh, timeout taken by Jimtown with 6:17 to go, third quarter. 18-9, Marian doubling up the Jims on 46. This edition of the 46 Game of the Week being brought to you in part by Bill's Heating, keeping families and businesses comfortable since 1951. This defensive effort by Marian tonight, no surprise. They've held all 24 of their opponents this season below their scoring average. In case you're curious, Jimtown scores exactly 50 points a game.
Well, when you go to a Marian practice and you sit back and watch it, Rob Berger spends a lot of time working on defense and getting his younger players to buy in as well. So it's a big part. Yeah, we always saw that with Jack Edison type teams over the years. Warsaw. When you don't allow much scoring, you don't have to score a whole lot yourself, and very effective way to win.
So here are the Jims with the basketball. And again, their leading scorer, Preston Phillips, at 15 a game, has been held to 2 so far tonight, has not had a field goal. And has had very few field goal attempts.
Marian close to a 5-second call there.
Here's Pollock for 3. That one rattled out. Sullivan got the rebound, somehow controlled the dribble. And Marian can take its time with a 9-point lead.
Pollock made one of his first 2 shots, has missed the last 5, and again, credit Marian's defense for a lot of that pressure.
Now it's Sullivan up top again. Deglin, only a freshman. The senior point guard, Jerry Bracey, trying to create. Another senior, Michael Bachman, was fouled right across the noggin as he tried to throw that pass to Kakalia.
Folks, Teachers Credit Union understands the importance of growing your future, whether you're growing your family, your square footage, or your business. Teachers Credit Union is here for you with financial solutions that will help you succeed. Visit tcunet.com to start growing your future today. Federally insured by the NCUA, they are an equal housing opportunity lender.
Blake Garrettson was called for the foul. Kakalia lost the handle trying to penetrate. Bachman known as a three-point shooter, so Phillips was out to cover him up. Bracey working against Pollock, and Campbell sent that into row 2.
Bracey still just as quick, but Campbell just as physical as he's always been, and is able to hold his position and knock that one away at 6'5".
Jimtown reminds me a little bit of a soccer team with a lead, or a hockey team that'll set up all of its defensemen right around the goal. As Sullivan uncorks the three, can't get it to go, and Kakalia gets the rebound. Jimtown is making sure nobody's penetrating into that paint. You'll see 5 guys in the paint sometimes, but they just haven't been able to hit shots. And because of that, they find themselves in a situation where Marian can just handle the ball outside and not really care.
They get something open, they can take it, but they don't have to.
Sullivan tried to force something that time, but another long rebound comes out to the Knights. They've drained over a minute of clock with this possession.
Marian on top and rebounding, 12-10.
Sullivan misses again. Rebound out of bounds. It's going to go to Marian.
Wow. Jimtown hadn't had a touch in about 2 minutes.
The length of the Knights just giving all kinds of problems to Jimtown tonight. And Jimtown's not alone. This has been the case. This is one of the reasons Marian's 20-4, folks. It's Bracey up top. Had it knocked away, but got it back. Bracey took a shot across either the eyes or the lip, and so Marian will call a timeout to give him a chance to catch his bearings with 3:37 to go, third quarter.
Well, we saw a lot of physical play last night. We're seeing some more tonight. Folks, for 60 years, Imagineering Finishing Technologies has been the industry knowledge source for metal finishing solutions. They set the standard for industries including automotive, medical, aerospace, military, and defense. Go to IoTworldwide.com for more information. IoT has earned national accreditation and worldwide respect. Like the teams in tonight's game, they're working toward a great finish.
Not the best of days for the Hoosiers or Boilermakers, but they'll try to right the ship in the Big Ten tournament. Indiana will start against Nebraska Wednesday night at 8:30 on 103.1 FM. As for Purdue, they'll be in action Thursday night against opponent to be determined, and that'll be a 6:30 start. Purdue will be the 10 seed, Indiana the 11th seed in the Big Ten tournament. Here it's 18-9 Marian. Jimtown has scored 4 points since about the 2-minute mark of the first quarter. And Jerry Bracey just hits a jumper for his 9th point of the game. Marian's lead back to its biggest of the game at 11. Bill Pollock finds Garrettson outside. Now Clay Campbell around the top of the arc.
Give a lot of credit to Kaleo Kakale. He's doing a good job inside on the defense, especially when the big guy comes through there. When Phillips comes across the lane, he's being covered.
I'm a little surprised they don't run some sort of clear out for Phillips here. Instead, Pollock will launch a three and hit. To say the least, desperately needed. His 61st of the year, second of the night. He has 6 to lead the Jimmies. Declan Sullivan on the outside for Marian. The Knights jumped out to a 5-0 lead. It was tied 5-5 and now up by 8. Hoffman tried for a backdoor cut. Sullivan wheels around and is fouled on his way to the basket. He'll go to the line for 2. Looks like the foul is called on Phillips. Nope, they're going to call it on Clay Campbell, his first. We'll get another look from the SBO replay.
Really quick first step there for Sullivan as he decided to head inside.
Sullivan hits the first of 2, and Jimtown will go to the bench and bring in Bo Barnes. Sullivan on the year, an 82% free throw shooter. Very strong fundamental player. Rattles that one home as well. He has 9, tied for team high honors tonight.
His first 2 of the second half after a solid first half.
Campbell finds Phillips, and now Pollock. Jimtown just unable to get its offense going. Pollock's three might have been deflected. It's short.
I think he got a piece.
Bracy comes down in transition, then good defense by the Jimmies forces him back outside. And Sullivan will just take his time.
You're down by 10 in a game that if it was at the normal rate of scoring, you'd be down about 30.
Jimtown has come out in man-to-man. They are trying to force the issue a little bit with Marian. Bracy pulls up and drains a jumper. Jerry in double figures now with 11. He had 20 the first time these two teams played. He's been in double figures in every game this season but one. Phillips outside.
Maybe a little too eager to give up the ball on a pass. I know he's trying to stay within the offense, but Phillips is a top-flight athlete and basketball player. He needs to shoot it.
Pollock will. Bill Pollock's third three of the night. Cuts the gap back down to 9. And Marian will likely hold for one shot.
Haven't had much success with that game plan tonight.
You see the clock, bottom right-hand corner of the Intera Credit Union scoreboard. Menting, now Bracy. He won't be shy about pulling the trigger. Couldn't get it to go, and the third quarter comes to an end. The Marian Knights have not won a sectional since 2016. They might be just 8 minutes away of doing that, thanks to the play of Jerry Bracy. Bill Pollock desperately trying to keep Jimtown in the game with a three-point arsenal, but it's 24-15 Knights after 3 on 46. This edition of the TV 46 High School Basketball Game of the Week being brought to you by Imagineering Finishing Technologies, IFT, where quality is a way of life. And a way of life for us. Sideline reports from Bo Hunt. Your thoughts on quarter number 3?
I thought Marian did a better job of really attacking and picking up the momentum a little bit. One thing I think they took from Jimtown is they were a little bit more patient offensively, made a few more passes and really made it difficult for Jimtown to really get in any groove at all as well. Jimtown, on the other hand, they need to step it up here. It's all or nothing here in the fourth quarter. They need to stop taking as much time, I think, on their shot and really get something and get going with it, guys.
Well, the shooting numbers got a little bit better for Jimtown in the third quarter.
Yeah, they shot 60%. Unfortunately, they only had 5 shots. Made 3 of them. They are now 5 out of 19 for the game. Marian, pretty solid quarter again, and for the ball game, 10 out of 23 for the Marian Knights, just under 50%.
Marian begins the fourth quarter with the basketball, looking for their 21st victory of the season and their first sectional title in 4 seasons. Rob Berger won a sectional and regional in 2012, and then another sectional in 2016. Jerry Bracy with the ball up top. The Marian guards have been outstanding all week in this sectional. Here's Boffman outside to Menting for 3. Mitchell Menting with a 3 bomb, and Marian will take a timeout with 7:13 to go.
Well, Mitchell Menting off a setup play there, got a chance for a clean look and was able to knock it down for the Marian Knights, and watch it here again on our replay. Folks, St. Andrews Products has joined our team with the finest in promotional products, advertising specialties, business gifts, and apparel. Give them a call at 800-628-9922 or check out their email at sales@standrewscorp.com. Your expectations become our standards, and our answer is always yes. Now, what's the question?
Next week, we will have a regional game for you on TV 46, but we don't know where we'll be or what time the game will be, so we will post that on our social media sites, both 46 Sports on Twitter and Facebook, and we'll get that information out to you as soon as we figure out just where we're going to be on the road to Bankers Life. A lot of good possible matchups next week. The winner of this game will play the winner at the Hanover Central sectional. That is a game between Hanover Central and New Prairie. If you look at the records, Hanover Central at 22-2 would be the favorite. But New Prairie plays that rugged NIC schedule, and it might prepare them well for what they see over there.
And they've been playing pretty well the last couple of weeks. We got to see them about, maybe 3 weeks ago. And they were showing signs of really jumping into that program with their head coach and getting things together.
Culver Academy with a 30-18 lead on John Adams in the third quarter. Pollock open for three again. Couldn't get it to go. Rice's tip is offline, but Kakaliya fouled him.
One of the few offensive boards for the Jimtown Jimmies tonight.
So Braden Rice, a 62% free throw shooter, had 17 points in Tuesday night's win over John Glenn. He has 3 here tonight, averages 10 per game. Bo Barnes checks out, Blake Gerritsen back in. Rice, a driver and a slasher, but we haven't seen a lot of that from him tonight.
One of just 4 players have scored tonight for Jimtown.
Now Jimtown extends the pressure with that defense a little bit. Kakaliya kicks it back outside to Bracey, who takes it in with the left hand for 2. Jerry Bracey now with 13. If you were picking an MVP of this sectional, it would likely be either Bracey or Sullivan. They've both been terrific this week. Bracey has 58 points for the sectional right now. Sullivan has 51.
You figure a lot of points that anybody else gets from Marian are because they're overplaying sometimes on Bracey.
Here's Phillips off a lob. Boffman really bodied him up, and they'll call the foul there.
Folks, get back in the game with South Bend Orthopedics, team physicians for the University of Notre Dame since 1947.
Both teams with only 2 common fouls. Phillips pushes it back outside to Pollock, who misses on that 3, and Sullivan gets the rebound. Might have been a situation where Phillips would have been better off taking that mid-range jumper. And now, Marian will spread it out and try to force Jimtown into double teams. Of course, that leaves somebody open, and you never know when that backdoor cut's coming for Marian. Oh, my. A hard foul there by Pollock. He did not mean to take out Sullivan. He was trying to go for the ball.
Mike Campbell would have been happy with a hit like that.
Rob Berger doesn't mind. Says that's part of the game. As the Knights continue to be a very patient lot out here.
Bracey got some more contact that time, but
Boffman lights it up for 3. Michael Boffman with his first basket of the game, his 24th three-pointer of the year. Marian with its biggest lead at 15. Rice blocked by Kakaliya. We've got a foul called underneath, and it's going to go against Jimtown.
Kakaliya had good position again inside.
Blake Gerritsen called for the foul. He just shoved Mitchell Menting halfway across the gym. Meanwhile, Boffman kicks it outside to Sullivan, who runs into Gerritsen. Gerritsen called for the blocking foul. That's his 4th.
Had it up in a hurry for him. We want to thank the folks from Jimtown Pizza. They fed our production crew tonight, did a great job. Folks, whether you're hungry for pizza, chicken strips, breadsticks, bread and mushrooms, or ice cream, Jimtown Pizza can feed your family or your whole team. You can also find the same great food at Cook's Pizza in Wakarusa. You know, when the Jimtown Jimmies are hungry, they go to Jimtown Pizza. And again, thanks for feeding our crew tonight. What a great teammate they are. They've been with us for a lot of years.
Terrific pizza from Jimtown Pizza. Gracie all the way in for two. Jerry with 15, timeout called by Jimtown. 4:32 to go in this one. And Marian still doubling up the Jimmies, but this time it's a 17-point lead. The Knights cruising towards a sectional championship on 46. This edition of the TV 46 High School Basketball Game of the Week being brought to you in part by the Indiana High School Athletic Association, partnering with TV 46 for 30 years.
Our fourth quarter sponsor tonight is Angel Automotive. Angel Automotive fixes everything from maintenance oil changes to complete engine overhaul. Let Angel Automotive be your neighborhood car repair service center. Find out more at angelautomotive.com.
So a 34-17 Marian lead with 4:32 to go. Not much time for Jimtown to mull it over as they have to get back in this one in a hurry. Bo Barhams, the sophomore, to Clay Campbell. Again, Campbell and Phillips, two of the top scorers on this Jimtown team without a field goal tonight until then. Campbell, who had 14 last night in the win over Clay, with his first two of the night tonight. And now Jimtown really extending the pressure. They have to gamble a little bit here. And a great effort there by Pollock, who has been the best player on the floor tonight for Jimtown in terms of scoring.
Good hustle right there. There's no quitting the Jimtown Jimmies. Never has been, no matter what sport.
Kakaliya lobs it into Sullivan. And Declan Sullivan, the freshman, who has played very well in this sectional, continues to help out this Marian backcourt.
Marian spreading the floor pretty good. That's what provides the opportunity for a guy like Bracy to, you can get by one man on the perimeter. He can go all the way to the basket like he did earlier.
Boffman with a nice cut finds Menting in the corner for three. The long rebound controlled by Bracy. And Bracy is fouled as he tries to deliver to Kakaliya. Foul's not a bad idea right now for the Jimmies. That's their sixth. They're going to wind up having to send Marian to the line at some point in this game. And Marian, a 67% free throw shooting team on the year. Sullivan down the left side of the lane, takes it over to the right side for two. He's like a little water bug out there.
He is so quick, and then watch him on defense. He's able to get over and doing a pretty good job defensively on Pollock.
Well, I'll tell you what, we had that question about the juice of Marian as Phillips is fouled on the way up by Menting. And Bo, I dare say that Marian has answered that call tonight. I know in the first half you talked about their legs, but just watching the way they've moved on defense, they are doing a good job of playing with some energy tonight.
Yeah, definitely they came out, made some adjustments. I'm sure Rob talked to them at halftime and said, hey, guys, listen, our energy isn't where it needs to be. You know, I know we're up. I know we're beating this Jimtown team we're expected to beat, but I'm sure he said, hey, they're not going to give up, and we need to come out. We need to get more aggressive. We need to be more physical, especially on the defensive end as well. And you can definitely see a difference in their energy level here in the second half.
All four of Preston Phillips' points tonight have come at the foul line. Great pass to Boffman from Bracy. And Boffman has 5. Jerry Bracy's going to help a college program somewhere. I don't know where he's going to wind up, but he's going to help. Sullivan racing the other way. In transition, got the bucket and the bump.
Wow.
Take another look at this one from the freshman. Part of the future of this Marian program. And you look at the youth of this Marian program, Bob, as Sullivan goes to the foul line to complete the old-fashioned three-point play. You've got Sullivan, who's a freshman, Thornton, who's a freshman. Franklin's back next year as a junior, so's Menting. Kakaliya's back. And then they got a kid named Richard Brooks on the JV. As Campbell hits inside, I mean, Marian looks loaded to make another run next year.
Yeah, if you're a local player with some size, you might say, hey, that'd be a pretty good place to land and get a chance to play with those guys.
Kakaliya fouled on the way up, so he'll go to the foul line with 2:03 left, and Garrettson will check back in for the Jimmies at the next opportunity.
Sullivan missed, but Kakaliya had the rebound and getting ready for the putback when he was fouled under the basket.
Kaleo Kakaliya rattles that one home. He has his average of 5 tonight. 60% free throw shooter on the year. We saw him have a very good game last game of the regular season against Washington. In fact, the sectional game here against Washington, he played well in that one too. Promising young talent. Timeout called with 2:03 to go, and Marian with a 20-point lead.
Well, in the fourth quarter, when Jimtown needed to make a charge to get back in the game against Marian, Marian hits 6 out of 7 from the floor. And reminds you a little bit of what we saw last night from Northridge when he hit 11 out of 14 in the third quarter. Marian 6 out of 8 in the fourth quarter. Jimtown, meantime, has only gotten 5 shots off. They've made 2. And the complete domination defensively by Marian is one of a couple of factors in the game, but I think the biggest one because it just has frustrated Jimtown all night long.
Meanwhile, Marian, 520 win campaigns in the last 6 seasons. What a job Rob Berger has done with the Knights. Helps to have talent, and he's had that. But this team, he says, has been his favorite because of how well they play together. Let's check some other scores quickly around the area. Adams has closed the gap to 35-27, still trailing CMA with 5:18 left. After 3 at Northside Gym, Northridge with a commanding 47-31 lead on Warsaw. If those scores hold up, it would be Northridge and Culver Academy in a regional semifinal over at Michigan City next week. And that might be a delicious one to watch. We've got a whistle and a foul away from the ball. It's going to be called on Blake Garrettson, and he's done for the Knights.
And he knew it. He just turned and headed toward the bench.
So Garrettson, the all-NIC offensive lineman, fouls out with 2 points. And Marian will work against the full court pressure here of the Jimtown Jimmies. Got to get it across, and Bracey does. Menting, who had a flu bug earlier this week, seemed to be okay tonight. And the Knights have Sullivan fouled by Preston Phillips.
Chuck, not to placate what's going on here tonight or the idea that Jimtown is a better team than we've seen tonight, although we know they are. They're 17-7 coming into tonight, and they're a member of the NIC. And when you think about, the competition they used to play against, you say they're 17-7, that's pretty good. But they're doing that against some of the bigger schools, and hats off to them.
Really one of the best years that Jimtown basketball has ever had. Now, obviously, their best year, the state championship season of 2004, and that's the last time they've won a sectional. But it doesn't take a long memory here in Elkhart County to remember that Jimtown had a horrific streak of not being able to win a sectional game, period. That went for probably 30 to 40 years. So Matt Schaus has done a nice job here in 3 seasons. He'll lose 5 seniors, and that's going to be tough to replace, but we'll see what he's been able to do with the talent pipeline as Bracey misses the first free throw, one of the few mistakes he has made tonight. And Matt Schaus going to clear his bench a little bit. Going to send in Ethan Allen and Stone Norman and Bo Barnes, and Rob Berger will answer in kind.
On both sides of the arena are on their feet, giving a nice round of applause to both these teams. There's only 160 teams statewide that were in action tonight. 80 will move on to sectional championships.
Well, 64 and 128, but I know what you're trying to do.
Okay.
Bracy taken out after he scores his 16th point of the game.
I was thinking football with 5 plays.
5, yeah, I get it.
Turnover.
1 minute to go in this one. 46-23 in favor of the Knights. Ethan Allen down on the baseline. He is a crowd favorite here. Hunter Conrath in the game as well. Bo Barhams is fouled that time. As Davion Taylor in the game for Marian. Wanted to make sure his name was etched in the scorebook properly.
That's right.
And now Bill Pollock will come out for the last time as a Jimtown junior.
It's a nice hand from the crowd.
And that gives Braxton Rice a chance to come into the game. Barhams for 3. Couldn't get it to go, and the rebound to Darian Thornton.
I think Marian will hold the basketball right here.
Andrew Macheka, very good lacrosse player, handles the ball up top. And the Marian Knights will have their first sectional trophy to hoist since 2016 and move on to the regional at South Bend, Washington, playing the winner of tonight's game between Hanover Central and New Prairie. That's over in the Central Time Zone, so they'll have to wait to see who they're playing. But congratulations to Rob Berger and the Knights. They are the 3A sectional champions at Jimtown. And we'll see if Bo Hunt can get a couple of the Marian stars, maybe a Declan Sullivan or a Jerry Bracy to come over and chat with him before the trophy ceremony here. Yes, we'll celebrate our IU South Bend Fulfilling the Promise Player of the Game feature right now. Bo Hunt has got Declan Sullivan and Jerry Bracy.
Standing by here, Declan, first off, just what does this mean as a freshman coming in and having a tournament like you did?
It's a very special moment. We had a lot great leaders to get us to this point, and I'm just super excited, and I can't wait to go on to regionals and just keep playing.
Come over here, Jerry Bracy. Jerry, first sectional since 2016 for Marian. What does it mean for you and the Marian Knights?
I feel it was amazing. You know, no one thought we would be here. We worked all season, every game, every practice, every little thing we did wrong, we worked here. It's feel great. You know, we younger guys really stepped up. Our defense, our transition ball, just it's all right here about the heart and the name on our chest.
Both of you guys, between you two of you, had over 120 points in this tournament. What was that? Teammates, passing the ball, just the way you guys work together. How are you guys able to coincide, freshman and a senior?
Well, our chemistry is great. You know, we're good at driving. We're good at driving and kick it. We're able to knock down shots, and we're able when our team is the most, we're able to really be there for in the tough moments. So that's a good thing.
Jerry Bracy, Declan Sullivan, congratulations, guys. Go celebrate over there. Back to you guys.
All right, stick around, everybody. We'll have our post-game feature, our electrifying play of the game, and wrap things up from Jerry Cook Court after this on 46.
Thanks for watching the WHME TV 46 High School Game of the Week, brought to you by
It is net cutting time at Jerry Cook Court as the Marian Knights celebrate their sectional championship. Rob Berger, the head coach, is sending the ladder to cut down the final strands of the net right now. He holds it up triumphantly as his team has won here in the 3A sectional final by a final score of 46-23. Chuck Freeby and Bob Nagel high above courtside, and partner, a very impressive week for the Marian Knights to go through the gauntlet that they did.
Well, and it laid out, we're talking about, there's a lot of talk about seeding the sectional and that type of thing. This is the ultimate example of an unseeded sectional because Marian had to go through ranked teams all the way through and got a big win tonight over Jimtown, which is had a fantastic year. You shouldn't take anything away from them. But this is a very special Marian team. As Rob Berger mentioned, they like each other. They get along very well, and that's always so important. I've never been to a banquet, for example, where a team won a championship where they didn't get up and say, I love these guys. So if you're not buying into that aspect of what athletics is about, I think you give away an opportunity. But we saw a lot of good play out there tonight.
And one of those plays was our electrifying play of the game, sponsored by the electrical workers of Local 153. They're making our community brighter. Jerry Bracy, who had an electrifying week Look at the quickness, the left hand, which he has improved so much in his game, taking it in for the layup.
Couple of points you got to make. You know, Jaden Ivey was still here. Jerry Bracey was the number 2 guy. By the way, our feature brought to you by the electrical workers of Local 153, making our world brighter. And Jaden Ivey went on to Lalamere Academy, and Jerry Bracey blossomed as an athlete, did a really good job. And I also want to mention one other name tonight, Pat Nash, who's been an assistant coach with the Marian Knights for quite a few years, and his heart and everything is behind the Marian Knights certainly all the time, but not coaching this year. But I know Pat's got to be pretty happy.
So Marian moves on to the Washington Regional next week, where they'll take on the winner of tonight's game between Hanover Central and New Prairie. Will we be there? Not sure. We'll be at a regional game someplace next week, and we'll bring our 46 crew with us, who brought you the highlights tonight. Dean Korsmo doing a lot of different tasks tonight with help with Dan Balmer and Jed Dubik. And Jed doing double duty tonight as well. Thomas Tahar, the usual cast of characters. A reminder that we've got college basketball on the radio this week as the Big Ten tournament gets underway. Indiana plays Nebraska Wednesday night on 103.1 at 8:30. Purdue will play an yet-to-be-determined opponent in their first game of the Big Ten tournament Thursday night at 6:30. And then it's high school basketball next Saturday on TV 46 with a location and time to be determined. Now for my broadcast partners, the Hall of Famers, Bob Nagel and Bo Hunt, it's Chuck Freeby. Once again, the final score, Marian 46, Jimtown 23. Crown the Knights the sectional champions at Jerry Cook Court.